All right. Welcome back to El Mandolero. This is our Star Wars The Mandalorian podcast. I'm Bert.
I'm Alex.
But I'm Jesse. Fan favorite Jesse.
Oh, yeah.
Fan favorite.
Yeah.
The Jesse boys are out there.
Fan and strange pet favorite Jesse.
Are we calling
Your
them the
ferret
Jesse
loves
boys?
Yeah, Jesse boys are canon now.
Okay.
I wish I was Jesse's boy.
Oh, yeah, it's a famous song.
Don't they all?
Yep.
Today we're talking chapter 14, The Tragedy, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Let's go to scores first. I gave this one a 9.
I think the kids call that dope.
I give it 2 thumbs, which translates, as we've discussed, into an 8 to 10, but I will go with 9.
9? Okay.
I gave it a 10. It's Boba
10.
Fett, baby.
Boba Fett.
You got to lay down that respect. It's Boba Fett.
Back in
He's
action.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time we've had Boba Fett back in action since Return of the Jedi.
Been a long time. Canonically as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We deserve this. It's okay to love.
I mean,
if
eating
you're
that Sarlacc from the inside out ever since.
And I want to be clear, Jesse, if you're implying that Star Wars fans deserve this, you are wrong. Star Wars fans deserve absolutely nothing.
I mean, we knew it was coming as soon as we saw episode 1, but it was nice to. It's just nice to see, and I like that Disney's done the continuity of having Morrison play Boba Fett when he played Jango Fett. The same way they had Jimmy Smits in Rogue One as Bail Organa. Just a nice continuity.
I really just want I want to see the Boba Fett. How did he survive theories?
Yeah,
because I want it to be like, he lodged himself in the gorge or before the gorge, so he didn't get crushed up, and he just stayed there for weeks, just cutting pieces of Sarlacc and eating them to stay alive until he could slowly kill it.
I think it was faster. Like, to me, it was like he goes in the pit, and then like the camera pans away, and then like 5 minutes later he's jetpacking out of the pit, like or like you said, covered in Sarlacc, like just like ripping pieces off, climbing out. I don't think he was there for weeks or years, but
I want to be like Jonah.
He clearly got like acid burns from the digestive fluids.
No,
like
that's fair.
Head, like he was clearly submersed in fluid. Maybe even it was only for a few minutes, but
right.
Like he was submersed in digestive fluids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't know why they if the fluids were that corrosive. I don't know why they say like you'll be slowly digested for 1,000 years, because it's like no, you're gonna be dead in like 20 minutes.
Right.
You're gonna drown in digestive fluid.
I think there were some dramatic liberties taken for sure when he was saying 1,000 years. I mean, there's some other reasons why it wouldn't be slowly over 1,000 years, but yeah.
I mean, Robot Chicken already dealt with this, so
yep.
But yeah,
I know how they got out.
I'd love to hear the Boba stories about. Let me tell you about this one time I was eaten alive by a Sarlacc.
I still like the best is the Dark Empire line from the comics when he's just like, the Sarlacc found me indigestible.
Yeah,
no,
I like that.
Cool. You're cool. Especially with that New Zealand accent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's my question though. Like Bert said, like, is this just like a Thursday for Boba Fett? Like, is this just like not even like a great story at the bar? This is like his 7th best story is the time he was eaten alive.
Yeah. Tell the
Sarlacc story again. Yeah. I was gonna say,
I'm beached. I'm beached is.
Yeah. It's not even my best
that's
story.
a great story. I'll tell you it again. I'm Boba Fett.
Oh man.
I picture the guy from, the guy the red-haired guy from Flight of the Conchords with the mustache, the New Zealand.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I picture I would love that guy to be Boba Fett. That's right, I'm Boba Fett. I'll tell you the story again. I escaped from the Sarlacc. Oh yeah, it was really scary.
Plot predictions. So we did have, a lot of Boba Fett predictions about retcon death. So that happened. So congrats to everybody who predicted that. Is there anything else that was?
Nobody had Dark Troopers either.
Did nobody say Dark Troopers? Somebody. No, I
maybe
have to
somebody
look again.
online did. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I don't think anyone put Dark Troopers, although that would have been a pretty safe prediction.
Do you think so? I wouldn't have bet on Dark Troopers. I mean, I remember playing Dark Forces when I was younger. Before forgetting about it entirely when they released Jedi Knight 2. But I don't think I ever would have bet on Dark Troopers returning in any real way.
Well, they're back. Haven't done much, but they're back.
They look kind of like a Phase 1 Dark Trooper too. They don't even look like they don't look the Phase 3 ones.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was actually confused about if they're supposed to be those Dark Troopers or if they're like full Beskar or if they're like, it could be a lot of stuff.
I didn't like it. That's one thing that I didn't like about this episode. I don't like the Dark Troopers. I think they're stupid. I think the whole concept of Dark Troopers is stupid. It's like, okay, so we got droids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that was the whole thing that they were making droid soldiers in Dark Forces. I'm not into it.
Yeah, we're a bit past that now that it's been the central focus of like 4 movies and like 100 anime episodes. Yeah, like I agree with you. Like I think we're past it.
Resurrections, cameos. We got Boba Fett, and Fennec Shand is alive.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was a resurrection, so that's good.
Yeah. And she's got robot guts, which was pretty cool.
That was cool. I mean, talk about
I love how
easy
she
thing
keeps
to
a
do.
transparent section like on her clothes, so she can just be like, Boba Fett's my god now. Look at what he did. He's not only a competent bounty hunter, he stitched me back together with robot guts.
Yep, I got robot.
I mean, of those 20 new IPs they announced this week, did you see anyone that could be a love story of Boba Fett and a Sarlacc?
One of those is going to be the Cara Dune show.
Yes, it is. I mean,
See how that goes.
I'm betting against that one if you want to make bold predictions.
I mean, did you see her like this week? She was, I think yesterday, she was online talking about, again, like anti-masker theories. I mean, like it's just like
That's
I mean,
great.
like I just don't understand why Disney's like, yeah, we're gonna give her a series.
All right. We were at Resurrections, cameos.
Oh, yeah.
So Boba Fett's back. Fennec Shand is alive. Baby Yoda talk watch. Nothing to this episode. He just sat on a rock with his eyes closed.
True.
And then got
But
abducted.
was he talking through the Force to other people? Now, if I want to
He
use
was.
Definitely.
if I want to use the metrics that the both of you employ to judge whether or not he's spoken,
Right.
I mean, yeah,
Well, then he's
speaking.
spoken already.
Yeah, we know he's
But-
spoken.
I'm just
But-
gonna give you guys this because your bullshit reasons for how he's speaking. I mean, he just reached out and spoke to like every Jedi alive. So
Right.
let's just let
So,
him
like,
have it.
has he gone from
Alex wins.
half a point to 3/4 point? Like, is that what we're doing?
It's a full point.
Oh,
I'm
full
going to
point.
say
You
it's a
know
full
what?
You've
point now.
conceded.
Okay, but let's go to episode chat because
Do it.
this is just going to be my first sort of general point about the episode is there were a million predictions about who's going to show up when they put him on that seeing stone and he sort of reaches out and, this Jedi, that Jedi, Mace is coming back, Cal Kestis is coming.
Yep.
It's going to be Luke Skywalker. Literally nobody. They just abducted him right after.
Surely that's next episode, right? Surely Luke Skywalker and Mace Windu are coming next episode.
I think Mace Windu's
just
coming
gonna
back.
show up on the planet and there's gonna be nobody.
All right.
Except the hole. Don't forget the hole where the ship is.
Another false alarm.
I think Mace Windu's actually going to show up. I think they're going to.
Yeah.
Now that Alex says that, I think that's probably like the most reasonable Jedi. I don't think it's going to be Mark Hamill. It would make sense, but for some reason, I really like the idea of Samuel L. Jackson training Grogu.
Oh man, that's such a bad idea. But yeah,
It's gonna be so
that would
good.
be interesting.
Why is it a
It's
bad
gonna be-
idea?
Just because Mace's power level is too high. It's too high for him to be alive. Actually,
He
if he's
needs
lost
the baby to be his hands. He's got his hands cut off. He's like Grogu.
right? Well-
Get me the coffee cup.
How much did he get cut off? Both arms or both just hands?
Like right here. Like
Okay.
Yeah.
he
So,
got
like,
part of the forearm.
My understanding is
Mhm.
that like your force powers are depleted from with like every body part that gets hacked off. So if that's true, then like losing both of his arms, like say a third or quarter, a fifth of his body, then he probably is in the same power level as. But I mean, just
But the
power
shatter
level.
points. But the shatter points.
But Darth Vader lost his arms
It's a
and
cheat
legs.
code.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But, like
yeah.
Anakin Skywalker lost
that's
arms
why-
and legs, and he was
Right.
hella powerful.
He was, but that's all. But that's why his force powers were so terrible. But like he was still like physically powerful. But I mean, compared to Mace, he was like not even close. Like Mace would annihilate him with a thought. But again, sort of part of the problem.
Then why didn't he?
Right. That's actually part of the problem, right? We've never seen that encounter, and so like if he comes back,
well, we saw it, and he cut his hands off.
Well,
I mean, there was a window.
There was.
So I just want like if we look at what's been displayed on screen,
right?
Mace Windu didn't do so well.
Right. If this is one of those
Jango Fett.
Yeah. This is one of exactly. No, this is one of those Pirates of the Caribbean. Like in a fair fight, I would defeat you. It's like, well, it's not much incentive for me to fight fair. Like Mace Windu would easily have defeated both of them, but again, they had to use diplicity. But again, I don't know why I'm defending Mace Windu.
Power.
He's very dead. It's not happening.
Unlimited power.
Oh, he's alive. He's out there.
Oh, I feel like he's got to be alive. He got his arms cut off and thrown out a window. He didn't fall down a tube
volcano
and get burnt up in like energy in the Death Star, right?
Right.
He fell out of a window in an actual building where he could have force maneuvered himself to the ground.
Yeah,
he definitely he
hit the ground
die.
And he was just like, he never came back. He's like, well, I guess the Jedi Order is done with.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go for a vacation.
I mean, that's what I would.
My beautiful hands.
His hand modeling career was over.
He just couldn't get over it. It turned out that Mace Windu was incredibly vain. My hand. What am I gonna do now? I'm not a Jedi anymore. And then he's drinking toilet wine for the next 5 years. Toilet blue milk. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So there are a couple things I wanted to point out in the episode itself, and they're all just funny little things because the episode was so good. All right. This is like when Boba Fett's asking for his armor back, and Din is like, "Are you Mandalorian? Have you said the words? Are you adopting the creed and blah blah blah?"
Did you take the creed? I give my allegiance to no one.
Okay, so really the part of that I was pointing at was, I give my allegiance to no one. So how far can you really trust Boba Fett?
I mean, definitely not very far. I mean, he's actually a bounty hunter who actually like we thought Din was Boba Fett, but Din is not. Din has a heart of gold. Boba Fett does not have a heart of gold.
No,
he is evil, and he will betray him as the first possible. That he will absolutely betray him. Yeah,
I think that would be consistent. I think what they're telling us is that Boba Fett is a different guy now. And
no, I think.
I think, sure, I agree with you. This is inconsistent with Boba Fett's character, but they clearly want us to understand that Boba Fett's a really good guy now, and he's gonna help you find the kid. Because even at the end, like even Din Djarin is like confused by the fact that Boba Fett's like, nah, I promised we'd look for the child together, and we're going to. And he's like, oh wow,
no,
look at this, and I want you to see that this armor really does belong to me,
right? And I do think that Din was genuinely confused because it's confusing. Like for him to meet another bounty hunter that was like also being like, oh yeah, no, you know what? I'll do you a solid. Especially in Star Wars. Like Star Wars is not a universe where there's a lot of okay people.
Think about this. At what point was Boba Fett really a bad guy? I mean, he tracked Han Solo as a bounty, right? And when we meet the Mando in the first episode, when we meet Din Djarin, he's doing the exact same thing with the Mithril, right? And he literally freezes him in carbonite. It is the exact same transaction. And Boba Fett is even, he makes a deal with Vader, but I mean, he is just, it's not like he's a bad person. I mean, he is a bounty hunter. I don't think he's any different than the Mando.
No, he's not. And that's what I'm saying. Like that, but like we are sort of past the redemption arc on Boba Fett, but I think you're right. I think they are trying to telegraph that the redemption has happened as well. Like in the time between on screen and now, he is, if not a good guy, at least not a bad guy. If that maybe make more sense.
Yeah, because I mean, he's taken on a lot right now. For like, I said I would help you get, keep the kids safe, and so, let's go toe to toe with the Empire,
Right? And their new
Yeah.
things that clearly overpower us easily, but we didn't have to fight, which was strange. But
They're all Clint Eastwood from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah,
That's literally every Mando is Blondie. Like they're all Blondie.
Yeah.
All right. So the second point that I wanted to bring up quickly is this. That's it. That's the whole thing right there. Oh my God. So the how many million accurate cosplays do you think there are going to be because of this?
Yeah,
it's
like
the greatest thing that's ever happened to cosplayers.
People having to put bodysuits on. Well, when I watched this, when I wrote down, is this a strange camera angle or is this on purpose? Because it also seems in other shots like it's not nearly as pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
That one's only medium bad, but yeah, it took me aback for sure. And I don't know if it was supposed to be a reference to like he's out of shape or like he's not his father or what, but
he's older.
Exactly. Yeah.
People
gain weight.
I mean, Morrison is still kind of jacked. I think part of this is the robe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find a picture of the guy like in real life because he hasn't gotten that much.
I definitely don't think it's the actor is the problem. No, I don't.
Yeah, he's a pretty fit actor. He's not as thin as he was during the Clone Wars, but he's still in pretty dang good shape, like for someone his age.
Do you guys think that this is like costume? Do you think this is on purpose, like, or do you think this is a costume like
I
failure,
think it's on
or is it
purpose.
fine?
I think it's on purpose. They're just saying, look, he's older. He's not the same size as he was last time he wore this armor.
Yep.
And that's just how it is. Okay. I think I like the realism. I like that, you put on your old, football, uniform or your jersey from high school basketball, 40 years later, it's not going to fit the same.
Yeah, no, I think that's the feeling I got too. And I actually thought at first I thought it was jarring, but after that I sort of did think the same thing, Bert, which is like they're trying to telegraph that he's just old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Because like now, like, any regular dude can just put on some Boba Fett armor and be an accurate to canon Star Wars cosplayer. I love it.
The Mando timeline. Boba Fett.
Yeah. Fantastic.
A lot of hefty people out there who are really excited about this.
Yeah.
I'm overweight Boba Fett. It's funny, when I was in like 1996, I went to a con in Halifax on the East Coast, and they had an overweight Boba Fett. That guy, this is his day.
Yeah, this is his day.
Like, he had the whole thing, and he posed with a guy who was dressed as the Predator, and it was like, before there was a word called cosplay, like this guy was nailing it. Like it was a full, but he was like, I don't know, he was probably like 250, or more, and he had a belly, and now he's like, see, I'm canon.
Mm-hmm.
If he's still alive. God,
yep.
I mean, I hope he's still alive. I hope Hefty Fett is still alive.
I hope he lived to see this day.
I hope he did, right? This is a body positive Boba Fett. I like it.
Thicc Boi Boba. I love it.
Thicc Boi.
Sounds like a boba tea I would get.
That should be the title of this episode. That should be the tag on YouTube. Thicc Boi Boba. BOI, right?
Yeah, definitely BOI.
Of course.
All right.
Come on.
So last point that I wanted to just show quickly is this. There.
Wait.
So he's force choking again.
Yeah.
He's real good at that. What has he been up to? What has he been up to since Order 66? First of all, my question for you guys, like the dark side abilities, are they things that you have to be trained or you have to practice, or it just comes when you decide to embrace the dark?
Right. The canon's gone back and forth on this 100 times. Like, and I don't think we have a particular correct answer anymore. But to me, the act of choking is a natural, like if you can manipulate stuff with your mind, the act of choking is a natural thing to somebody that's trying.
You're playing the dating game. You know what it's like.
Yeah,
it's natural.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But what I'm saying is that if lightning came out of his hands, I think we would be having a different discussion. But even that is now canonically destroyed because of the sequel movies.
The sequels,
so I don't think we have a. So now, for my personal opinion, as opposed to like what we think canonically, I do think that it's sort of like a natural thing that you would reach out and try and choke somebody or push them back or lift them up, like any of those things to stop them from hurting you, especially when you're, Grogu's not the biggest guy. So like, I think he's just trying to defend himself.
Yeah, he can't drop kick them or anything. He's got to like, he's not going up onto that third ring and jumping down like the Ultimate Warrior. No, he's got a force choke. He's doing what he can.
Not going to the top rope. Yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah.
so in this same scene, Moff Gideon, like after he chokes out a bunch of stormtroopers, is like, "Oh, you love using that ability, but it makes you so sleepy."
So sleepy. That was weird.
Right? So he's done it before. Like they've
he
watched
definitely done
him
it.
do it before. So I mean, I really want to know what he was up to. Like, are we gonna get a dark backstory for Grogu, where like he was like the first Inquisitor? Is he gonna be the first Inquisitor? Like,
Yeah, that would be very funny.
Did they turn him to the dark, and he's actually hunted down hundreds of Jedi, and he just fell and bumped his head and lost his memory? He's Revan?
Yeah, like he's the most
Darth
evil.
Revan.
I mean, those are some bold predictions. I think that Gideon, when they had him captured before, I think he probably choked out a couple of people, and Gideon's just thinks it's funny. So it just keeps letting it happen.
Look at the little guy.
Look at him
Throw a couple guys in there. Let me see him choke him. Oh, it's so cute. Look at how he chokes him.
It's
That's
weird,
great.
We've talked about like the
Nice
cannon
honesty.
fodder before, but it's weird. I mean, Star Wars has its own weirdness about sending people in to get, hacked to bits by Mace Windu or get like, it's just weird. Like I understand that the Star Wars is like, the Wild West, like life doesn't matter, anything goes, but it's still weird to me.
They don't show enough of Stormtrooper indoctrination for these people to consistently just throw their lives away for nothing.
Yeah.
All right, there's a guy with a sword made out of pure energy. He's gonna. We need 50 of you to just run at him.
Just and hope for the best.
Yeah.
We don't have a plan. The plan is 50 of you run at him. No, we don't have a weapon or anything.
What about our blaster rifles? Oh yeah, he's just gonna bat all those. He'll probably knock them back at you and kill you.
Yeah.
It'll distract you. for
It's
15
actually
minutes.
worse if you shoot at him. So we're just gonna try and topple him over.
But I would love for there to be like a Grogu.
Oh man.
Like maybe that's what Cal Kestis comes in, and he says, "I'm going to train this kid," and then he touches something of his, and his like I can see people's histories by touching their objects. He touches that little ball or something of Grogu's.
Somebody's been playing Fallen Order.
Yeah.
And he's like, you killed so many.
All the younglings.
You monster.
All the
Grogu,
younglings.
you're a monster. Or like somebody
the guy
who
who
he's
Cal
seen.
Kestis was on Gotham too, so he's a legit actor, right? Like, So he could be in this. They could throw him, and it's like it's the right timeline too, right?
Well, yeah, that was one of the predictions was that he would be the one who shows up to hear his call to come and train Grogu, but he got kidnapped instead. But yeah, I would love for there to just be like some Padawan in a cell, and he sees Grogu walk by, and he's like, "No, not you! You killed my master! You." All right, Jesse, why don't you go next?
Great episode. No notes. Right. Thank you for not being Star Trek Discovery, Disney. Good work. Giancarlo Esposito has always needed a mustache. Anyone who says that's wrong can fight me. I think this guy never realized his true potential until he grew a mustache. Look at that. Look at him. That's evil. That's an evil mustache. I love Moff Gideon. Again, my only criticisms of the episode are I don't like the Dark Troopers. I just think it's like, I think stuff like that is, it's like there's too much sometimes where it's like, oh, look at this. This is an old expanded universe thing from the Jedi Knight video games. Surprise. How cool is that? Imagine if they brought back, like, if they think it's cool to bring stuff back from some of those video games. Imagine if they brought back, who is the bad guy in Jedi Knight 2 with like the weird eye visors and some of the expanded universe stuff that belongs in the scrap heap of history.
It does.
I think the Dark Troopers probably, that's my one criticism of this episode, is that I think probably you could have just left the Dark Troopers there. Anyway, that's my opinion. I could be wrong. But aside from that, yeah, I think this is great. I like they brought Fennec Shand back. I thought that was fun. I like that actress. Yeah, really, I really don't have any notes. I mean, the only thing that I thought was kind of a shocker, and I really kind of wonder what it means for the rest of the series, is the destruction of the Razor Crest.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that is kind of a neat. I mean, I am a little like, oh, I wonder what that means for the rest of the series.
I guess that's the death. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
death of this episode.
We should have put that on the death. You're right.
That is
Razor
the
Crest.
death of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
makes
interesting
sense.
because, like, if you watch like a lot of the YouTube quote unquote like criticism of the show, is the formula is like, especially the season, the formula is pretty tight. It's, you know, Ship gets hurt, he recruits one more person, like, and that's a fair criticism. I don't think that the like writers were like reading Reddit and then were like, oh man, they're making fun of us for like wrecking the ship every week. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna crank it to 11. But I do like to think that like this was like an afterthought after reading all of these people complaining about the ship getting broken every episode. I mean, it's certainly not getting broken in this episode or next.
Did you see the theories online that like people were arguing whether or not the Razor Crest was in one of the sequel movies?
Yeah.
I guess not.
I mean, the problem is, like, you can manufacture ships. I guess the problem is, like, there's nothing stopping him from making a new Razor Crest. Like, like in the same way that the universe has cloning, the ship cloning exists. Like, you can just make another Razor Crest. Like, again, this is sort of, again, a specific Star Wars problem, is that it's so easy to fabricate stuff sometimes, and then sometimes when you need that stuff, it's so difficult to acquire the like. So it's, I mean, it's sort of hard to pin exactly how easy it would be to recreate that ship entirely. But to me, technologically, it should be extremely easy. So it could still be the Razor Crest in the sequel.
All right, Alex, episode chat.
All right, so first and most important fact is that we got another Dank Ferrik.
Yeah.
This one was said like an F yeah, like a so
Dank Ferrik.
So we got another point towards it means like, I mean,
What's
F.
the timestamp on that? I think we should hear it.
Oh,
It's when
This was my
actually
favorite
write it down.
Dank Ferrik, I think.
Grogu, come on. You can have it.
Dance, Grogu, dance.
Dank Ferrik.
Yes.
So we had to add another point to the Dank Ferrik, and we still
That's so
and we're
good.
definitely leaning towards what it means, but it still remains.
Yeah.
It's
but-
taking the name of their savior in vain.
It could be.
That's what it is. Dank Ferrik is the Mandalorian Jesus. And they're actually a bunch of blasphemers taking his name in vain. Dank Ferrik.
Name of the creator.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about more briefly was it's 7:35. It's just this still of him meditating on the rock. So traditionally, the Force has always been, I think, difficult to portray, and I think that they they found a happy medium here without it being like too magic-y, but still magic-y enough. I thought that it looked cool. But I guess the question is, yeah, like, Bert, what do you think? Is he like calling out to them, or are they seeing him? Like what is happening with what is the actual mechanic of what's happening here?
I think it's like he's a battery, right? He's a battery in a signal emitter.
Okay.
And the emitter is off unless somebody who has, the right, force polarity to act as a battery is there.
Right.
You sit on the thing, you have the ability, it broadcasts whatever you are, thinking or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just a signal booster.
So it's like, it's bat signal. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's what he was doing with Ahsoka when she pressed her head to his. It's just the signal's been boosted.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
What I would like to see is, a rock where you sit on it and it makes your other force powers more powerful. So you can choke people for miles around.
Yeah, that does seem dangerous. All right, so the next thing I wanted to do was a tiny scene. It's around 1330. It is them fighting 2 platoons of poor Stormtroopers.
Yeah, these poor SOBs.
Why even? You know what? This is one of those things. This whole scene bothers me while they're doing this. I'm going to comment on it. You have the Dark Troopers.
Yeah.
And the Empire has fallen. Resources are scarce. And this is like a Gandalf and the Eagles kind of situation.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Where it's like, nah, we're gonna leave with the Stormtroopers, and it's like, why don't we just start with the Dark Troopers?
Right.
And Moff Gideon's like, shut up, Janice.
Right.
Right? We're doing it my way. I said lead with the Stormtroopers, and she's like, fine.
Yeah, like just see that. It's actually my entire point in this scene was we don't get to see the Dark Troopers fight because they don't fight. They just, like you said, they just eagle in. They just fly in and then fly away. But the guys on the ground, like this sequence where he like again where he's giving his friend, like I mean his comrade, his brother in arms, he's giving him the order, flank them, you idiot. Wait, I mean, but it's just such an incorrect military decision when the poor guy tells him we're pinned down. He's like, no, we're not. We can just like walk, and they immediately all get shot. Like it was just a strange scene, but also I think talks again about like what we've talked about before, which is like it is strange how little their lives matter, but even to them, because that's like his commanding officer. Like, yeah, like it's not even from like a high point of view where Gideon is like, moving them like pawns. This is his friend that's telling him like to flank, and he just gets instantly shot. I just thought it was another a strange thing to try and figure out like where lives matter.
Well, that's the thing. Like this is why I say there's not enough time given to their indoctrination. Like it's hard for like people, humans, animals, living things generally only exist because they have a drive to keep existing. They don't want to die. And these guys just throw their lives away. It's a lot of work to make somebody believe so hard that they're willing to toss their life away. And every one of these guys, every Star Wars IP, they just are like, I'm just gonna walk into fire. Like, I'm gonna let this guy cut me in half with his energy sword, and I'm dead now. And there's an unlimited supply of them. Also, this, these scenes do explain why they don't have railings on things, right? Like,
it does.
You don't need a damn railing. If one dies, just send another one.
It makes sense when they're clones, but when you start thinking of them as like recruits, then you're like,
it
well,
did make sense when they were clones. That's exactly right. And then, but they're not. Like these people were recruited, like at a recruitment office. Like
maybe there's like different thoughts of like schools of thought inside the Empire where people are like, just throw them out there. They're clones. And someone's like, no, Jeffrey, they're not clones anymore. Like, we stopped. The clone program's over. And he's like, oh, well, we can get more. And he's like, no. And everyone's like, no, we shouldn't treat them like that. And everyone's like, look, I liked the way we treated them when they were clones. I just want to keep doing it.
Right.
What if they just don't know? Like you get up to a certain level of seniority and they're like, send out the clones. Like, oh, they're not clones. Oh,
what do you mean?
Robots? He's like, no, those are people.
Their uniforms look like clone uniforms.
Way.
I've been sending them to their death for my entire career. Oh, no. It changed at a certain point. You just missed the memo on, oh, the
Moff
clones are now
Gideon's going to be
people.
like, hey, we're out of stormtroopers. Well, can you order me more from Camino? And they're like, they're not from Camino. Those are real people. And he's like, oh.
Poor clones. Especially in the sort of...
Thrawn's going to be pissed.
Right. Especially because he believes in resource management. But yes, like a minute later, when they all get Indiana Jonesed, with like it's just, I just really feel for these guys because like imagine the war story. It's like, oh, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh well, we were shooting at this one person, and then a rock killed everybody. But it wasn't. I was
That
like,
guy
oh.
who stays shooting.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna shoot the rock. I'm gonna shoot the rock.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's like, why are you had time to leave where you're standing.
Right. Like
Everyone did. Nobody should have. As soon as she moved the rock,
nobody
everyone should have
needed
been
to
like,
die.
I'm getting out of the way.
But it wasn't like a Jedi sequence where like, you know, Mace Windu floats by and like starts throwing boulders at everybody. This is literally she just knocks a rock down and it slowly moves down a hill and kills
just stays
absolutely everybody.
Yeah. It's as if
You
he
can,
was
see the
thinking,
you can see the commander at the back being like, hold your ground, idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
plague
like,
you
I
idiots.
didn't tell you to move your position. He's like, I guess I'm just gonna keep shooting. That's my order. So
I mean,
Guy
They
with the
don't
gun,
value their
though, it's
own
like he just believes in the lie right up until the moment he gets run over.
I mean, yeah, it's very tough for me. I get that these are literal cannon fodder because they are killed by cannons many times, but it's just hard for me to really believe that these are people. All right, so the next thing we already talked about was the armor. Oh yeah, the small thing I wanted to talk about. So the aiming system in Star Wars. So like we got a brief like hint of this in the 70s when they made Star Wars, and they're like, what would a targeting computer look like in the future? It's like, oh, you know, like a couple of like arrows moving and a computation working out the meters. But oh yeah, you want to run this. So, a couple things I wanted to talk about. So when we and the next sequence is like, oh, I was aiming for the bottom one, but
Yeah.
I had to rewind it because I was like, he's just bravado, right? But no, he was aiming for the
he
bottom
was
one.
aiming for the I
So,
did that
yeah.
too.
This is sort of like one of those things that like the Death Star, like all of these things, it just is the targeting really just terrible? Like every time they've got a TIE interceptor in their sights, they miss. So like, is this just a universe where the targeting computers just don't work and everyone knows they don't work and they still continue to use them? Like, he doesn't have a lot of missiles. If he misses, like, it's bad news. So like, I don't know, the whole sequence, and I don't understand like how their targeting is worse than modern day humans. I don't understand how this technology.
Maybe because the ships are so close together. I don't know. Because he kind of makes it sound like, oh, I was aiming for the other one. But you think like it's not really your fault. You locked on and fired on the other one, right? Like it's not like you didn't have any skill. Like you used your targeting computer to actually lock on to one ship and it hit the other one instead.
Yeah.
I really think that this scene confirms for me that no matter how many fighter pilots they had sent into that trench to blow up the Death Star, literally hundreds of them, they would never have got inside that hole because the targeting computers don't work. Without the Force, the Empire would have won because the targeting systems are just terrible.
Yeah. I mean, they clearly don't work. Like if it just by happenstance hit the other ship, then, you know, any of the other space equidistant from what he was supposed to be aiming at was likely that it would go there also, which would have not helped anybody. You just shot a missile and it just would have sailed past nothing as the ship flew away.
And again, that would have been funny, but I mean, it's strange. And I know it's not the future. I know it's alternative tech. It's not future tech, but I mean, it's just, I thought it was very strange. There's some holdovers from the concept of the series being made in the 70s that I think maybe could use updating, like their badges and some of the tech, but like,
Well, the fact that his targeting computer has a tiny little CRT monitor, you can see the scan lines on it, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, if you look,
can you imagine the graphic design?
I like the 70s tech. I don't know.
I like it too.
I like that they've stayed consistent. I would love for them to stay with the LCAR system in Star Trek.
Right. And again, I like the aesthetic. It's just the functionality that I think is strange. Like, you think that it would work, I guess is really...
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing I want to talk about is around 2552, baby shackles. So, Jesse, do they have those baby shackles ready? Like, is that a size of shackle that they have in the prisoner?
Oh, yeah.
And they just
look, Alex, we know the Chinese have them. We know the Chinese have baby shackles. We know it's a thing, and I mean, we know that's what they put on Baby Yoda. I'm just saying. That's what it is. But you know what? If you buy my colloidal silver, no problem.
It slipped right
You'll
out.
be immune to baby shackles.
So
I think that they do have baby shackles. I think it's a standard size.
I actually agree with you. Like, I do.
The Empire.
Actual...
These are space Nazis. They have baby shackles.
Yeah,
they have them in all sizes.
Which is, again, it's another throwback to New Hope, where they're like, the shackles aren't the right size. They would absolutely have Wookiee size shackles. They would probably have extra Wookiee size. All right, so the shackles are glowing. Like, is that because they have magic powers? Is that like stopping his force abilities? What do you think?
I think it's got to be force suppressive.
Oh,
it's
man.
suppressing his force
We're
abilities.
back to that. We're back to force suppressing.
I think it's actually just because his hands are so small, they made them glow so you could see them.
that could also. So the Frank Oz's little hands.
It's a dark shot. Is Frank Oz doing Grogu?
I just assumed he was, but I don't know if that's